the address by a member of the graduating class who has been selected by his classmates. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Charles Berendes.
How's it going? I was just wondering if you could all hear me. Give me some wave or something if you can hear me up there. All right. I just figured that as long as the more malicious members of my class voted me, a timid little soul from La Crosse, Wisconsin, to be the commencement speaker, and I had to write this and spend long sleepless nights in anticipation for this day, you might as well hear it. And for all of you who did vote for me, and for you who really had no say in me being here, that's too bad. That's how representation or representative democracy works. You might all have it bad being forced to listen to me, but how do you think Al Gore feels? Well, I was thinking about this speech for a while, and I have to admit, I was getting a bit nervous. I mean, there's a whole lot of you out there. But then I got to thinking, I've talked to most of these guys before, and they don't really frighten me at all. The trouble is most of the moms out there. Moms generally have an interesting reaction upon meeting me. I can hear it now. I thought we sent our boy to a nice Catholic school. Who is this? Well, at least our boy doesn't look like that. All I have to say about that is, in 20 years, when all these strapping young men are balding, they'll wish they had days of glorious flowing locks while they were still capable. As my concession to all the concerned mothers out there, let me wish you all a happy Mother's Day. My mom's over here. And that goes double for all the grandmothers out there. And you can give them a hand too. Just thank you for all that you've done for us. And maybe every day hasn't been heavenly, but at least you can be proud of us today. Before I get down to the brass tacks here, let me quickly state one simple fact. I am by no stretch of the imagination the valedictorian, so if any of this makes less than perfect sense, or if I fail to open doors to new realms of possibility or understanding, please remember I am nothing but a lowly graduating college kid. Now that I've provided you with my disclaimer, let's get on with it. First, let's turn our attention to the graduating class from St. John's School of Theology. I think that's you guys. These students came here to ask passionate and rigorous questions about God, the mysteries of the human person, and the life of the church. They've lived and worked in a little corner of our campus and are often overlooked. While some of us might be leaving here with degrees in English or physics or management, some of them are leaving here as masters of divinity, and that's almost as good as masters of the universe. So let's give them one more hand. Now, it seems to me days like this serve three functions. First, they give us a chance to look back to where we've come from and the good times and the struggles we've had to get here. Second, today is a day for celebration. I know it all seems pretty formal, sitting here, wearing dresses and goofy square hats, but this is no funeral. This is a big day. This is a happy day, and that should be the most important emotion today. Lastly, today is a day to look ahead at what the future may hold for us and what the future will expect from us. Us, the blessed enough to get this opportunity, and the talented enough to run the good race and finish. So this is a chance to look back with our families and remember our roots. A day to hear again stories about how we were as children and how there were days when graduating from college seemed about as plausible as jumping over the moon. This is a chance to look back to Roosevelt High School, O'Gorman, Sibley East, Albany, Lourdes, Cretin, Hutchinson, Apple Valley, Stillwater, and Aquinas High Schools. And remember those days of glory and struggle. Remember prom and football, hockey and detention, driver's license, and another graduation day that in some ways feels like yesterday, and in other ways feels like a lifetime ago. This is a day to remember another day not very long ago when our folks helped us move in and we awkwardly shook hands with our roommates and wondered how this was all going to go. To remember all that talk about community and remember how all that somehow came true. To remember staying up all night watching movies or playing cards and definitely not doing homework. This is a day to remember symposium and wonder what happened to that kid who dropped out. This is a day to remember house parties or standing outside Tommy Hall in a circle of humanity smoking cigarettes on a wintry January night and thinking to yourself, man, J-term is sweet. This is a day to remember fall Saturdays and football games or spring afternoons and sitting by SAG. I suppose this is also a day to think about finals and pulling your hair out wondering how you'd ever get it done. But those are days I'd rather forget. I mean, those are good war stories, but so is a story about getting your wisdom teeth pulled out, and I'm sure we could all live without memories like that. So I'm going to scratch finals memories, at least for today. This is a day to remember when pine stock was outside, before winter extended into May. A day to remember missing the bus and scrambling for a place at St. Ben's, although I'm fairly certain nobody in this room ever dared a stunt like that. This is a day to remember and value the incredible relationships we've had, and for many of us will continue to have, with the monks at St. John's Abbey, while the media tries to tell us those relationships are impossible, unhealthy, or dangerous. This is a day to remember that that has not been our experience. This is a day to remember ice fishing or pretending to ice fish on Sag or Stump. A day to remember walks in the woods or trips down that liability-ridden sled hill that is most definitely not pictured in those beautiful recruiting mailings. This is a day to think of all the wonderful experiences this place has provided. I know I couldn't cover all of them, and some I would have mentioned, but I'd hate to incriminate myself or any of the rest of you. But this is a day to think, while the world tells us that the place to be is the mall, we've had a blast in the woods of central Minnesota and on the streets of St. Joe. While today is a day to remember, it is also a day to live, to feel the thrill of accomplishment and the warmth of companionship. This is a day to laugh and to feast and to tip back a glass or two. This is a day for hugs, handshakes, and high fives, because you're still not too old for high fives. This is a day for jokes and for tall tales. They don't hoist all those flags over there by the library every day. Profs aren't stuck here every weekend, and they don't always bring political candidates to campus. This is a big day, and even the powers that be know it, so live it up. And I say even if you lived it up a little bit too much last night, to live it up today, at least give it a shot. This is also a day to look forward. We really don't have much choice. Res Life's going to kick us out of here in a couple days tops anyway. While I'm not expecting all of you to have a plan or career path, because the good Lord knows I'm far from that, I am saying that we have to look forward and think about our position in this expanding and fast-paced world. The way I could see it, We could have bought one incredibly fast, sophisticated status symbol of a car for the amount of money we've dumped directly into our brains over the last 4 years. The only way I can justify this expense is if it produces forward-thinking individuals. Don't get me wrong, I'm not asking any of you to share my political views, because it'd probably be easier for me to convince you to grow some wicked sideburns than to fall in line with me politically. But I am demanding you to use this tool, this commodity, this education to benefit of the larger world. If the time we spent here is simply seen as a vocational training period designed to plug us into a high-paying job, we've either missed the mark terribly or St. John's has failed us. I'm not asking that we all live lives of voluntary poverty, although I suppose that won't be a terrible idea. I'm not even asking anyone to turn down a high-paying job. In fact, if you've got one lined up, you can buy me a beer next time you see me. What I am saying is we've been provided with the ability to think. And I don't mean think in some lofty, pipe-smoking, philosophical way. I mean think in the problem-solving, leadership kind of way. As college graduates, we make a tiny fraction of the world's population, and I think the world demands us, the cream of the crop, to do more than sit back and count our money. There's good to be done everywhere and changes to be made for the better all over the place, and we've paid for and have been provided with the tools to do those things. If we don't see ourselves as agents of good and of change, or as free thinkers, we should have bought that status symbol car 4 years ago and not wasted our time here. It would have been easier, and girls would have probably thought we were way cooler. But if we see ourselves as educated and capable of critical thought, which I hope we all do, we are commanded to make an impact on the world. I think we are commanded to not trade in our newly acquired capabilities and talents for a comfortable life that yields a hefty bank account, but leaves no marks of love on the world and those around us. So I should probably end here and leave you all thinking either, wow, I need to do something great with my life, or else, man, I'm tired of that Chuck and all of his lofty ideals. But I'm going to ruin the whole effect and remind you one more time to have fun today. Get somebody to take you out to dinner, or talk somebody into a one-time gift of $25,000 to cover your student loans. Whatever you decide, just make sure to have a little fun. You've earned it. That's all I got.